We've grown the LVLUP Dojo community through relationship building. A significant amount of our content has stemmed from relationships made at tournaments and convention centers. Beyond our own personal experience networking at these events, we've also worked with several streamers and competitive players who have shared their knowledge on the subject. Meeting creators. This is the golden rule: make friends, not connections. This was initially number 4 of our best practices, but we decided to move it up because of how important it is. Would you want to do business with somebody you don't like? Didn't think so. Let's take a look at this scenario. Company A is offering 6 schmeckles for your endorsement. Company B is offering 9 schmeckles. And the rep from Company A is a Rick and Morty fan and probably really hilarious and intelligent. He/she actually went to high school 3 miles from that one guy you knew back from when your parents were in the same frat at clown school, and she asks extensive questions about what you stream and your community and what kind of brand you have. While the rep from Company B is obviously just in it for your support, they really don't care about your stream or your community. And what the hell did she even ask about the games you play or what you want to work with? Like she didn't even care. Now that's why you pick Company A, because that's pretty biased. It's a pretty broken paragraph. I'd be surprised if Company A was a thing, but the moral of the story is it goes both ways, whether you're approaching a potential sponsor or another streamer you'd like to collaborate with. People like working with people they like, right? It's simple. So please don't go around handing your business cards out like condoms at a free clinic. There is no reward for getting rid of your business cards faster than anyone else. I personally try to avoid handing out business cards over getting a phone number or social handles. I don't want to be another card in a stack of 100. You should want to work with other streamers and companies that resonate with your community. If a company stands for what you stand for, then promoting it will just be second nature. Alternatively, if you genuinely use and benefit from a company's product or service, then promoting it will come naturally. It's the same when it comes to networking with other streamers. Make friends, not connections. That's not just a slogan or a catchphrase. That's what you should be doing. When you make friends, the rest kind of follows. It falls itself into place. Don't target people you recognize and try to socially engineer your way into bumping into them to try to become friends with them. Like, unless you can really do that, which, you have to be the Sherlock Holmes of social engineering to do something like that without one of these, especially larger content creators who are pretty much used to people trying to use them for anything. Twitchcon should be a place where you feel comfortable, where you understand that there are a lot of other people who are like-minded. I personally believe that it should be your #1 goal to just start making friends at Twitchcon and make as many as possible. If you focus on just that, making friends, you'll satisfy all 4 goals that we mentioned previously, and best of all, you won't hate the people you might end up working or collaborating with. Networking best practices. Number 1, getting your branding right. You want to have that American Psycho feel. You want to touch a business card and go, wow, this is a nice business card. Make sure your branding is touched up across the board. Your logo and color schemes should be consistent across all of your social platforms, and make your handles the same, or at least similar to each other if at all possible. You want to make it as easy as possible for people to find you during and after the show. There's a good chance that they're either going to look you up right there on the spot or right after they meet you. Make sure there's nothing on your channel that's going to make them want to walk away and not have anything to do with you. Try to shy away from posting too many political things or anything that could potentially be projected as a controversial opinion right before going to an event, so that you have a good, clean slate and it doesn't detract from maybe your brand or personality. Business cards are footnotes, not conversation starters. Business cards are great, but don't look at your freshly printed stack and think, wow, I gotta get rid of all these during TwitchCon. I've gone to countless exhibitions in and out of the gaming industry, and no one, I repeat, no one likes to have business cards shoved down their throat. Don't be that guy or gal that starts a conversation by handing a business card and trying to come up with some way to sell yourself immediately. It makes people think that you're overeager, and it just doesn't start a good rapport with the people that you're trying to meet and potentially work with. If you would like to hand people your business cards, the best thing to do is to start that conversation. Find something you have in common and talk about it, or make yourself memorable in a charismatic and funny way. If you're timid and shy but have an awkward sense of humor that might resonate better with them, you never know if your personality is just what they're looking for as far as keeping yourself in their memories, in the back of their mind. When they look at your business card, they should remember exactly who you are, and a good way to do that is to make yourself stand out. The best connections we've made at events never received our business cards. Your goal when starting a conversation shouldn't be, how do I get my business card to this person? It should be, how do I make myself so memorable that they won't even need my business card? The biggest win you can get at an event like Twitchcon is approaching someone you want to meet and having them ask for your phone number. Like I said before, find something you have in common with the person you're talking to if you really, really, really want to make that secure connection. Do they like Star Wars? Have they seen Stephen King's It? Have they played PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds? What do they stream? Oh, that's cool. I stream the same thing. And if none of those things happen, ask them for their info or have them want to ask you for your info so that they can share some of the things that you were talking about or to catch back up on the conversation when maybe it's not so busy. It's super, super simple to get these things from people if you just have some poise. Be memorable. There's tons of different ways to be memorable. For extroverts, this may be easier than others. Your personality itself can be memorable. If you have trouble being gregarious in social settings, there are a couple ways that you can shine. Let's start with your clothes. Wearing something funny, creative, or plain weird is sometimes the best conversation starter. Because no one will actually start conversations with you if it's perfect. I said, nice shirt, to more people at PAX West than I've ever said in my entire life. Every one of those people could have used the opportunity to start up a conversation with me. Bonus points if you can tie your creative apparel into your brand. On a side note, should go without saying, if you play a character during your stream like Dr. Disrespect, show up at TwitchCon as that character. If you're new, find people who aren't. I know it kind of sounds weird, but at our first gaming event we went to as a company, we had no idea what we were doing. We didn't know anyone there. We didn't know any of the reps from the companies on display, and we barely even knew any streamers at the time. Hell, we just figured out where to find our own Twitch stream key a few days prior. At the time, we had one friend in the industry who was a pretty recognized face in the esports community. Luckily for us, we met up with him and he introduced us to like a whole bunch of people, esports orgs, potential sponsors, streamers, YouTubers, and creators of all kind. Just to clarify, this wasn't a structured relationship. We didn't tell him, okay, we're here for business, let's do 4 laps and hit every person with a table and an intro. We just hung out and made friends. Host community meetups for your viewers. One of the best ideas we've heard for engaging your community at exhibitions is host local meetups before and after the show. Even if you think you'll only get 1 or 2 of your viewers to show up, that's amazing. You've somehow related and resonated with people over the internet, people who've never actually met you, to want to come, possibly even fly to another state or country to see you. This in itself should be amazing and beautiful, something that so many people take for granted. Show your fans, however many there are, that you genuinely care about them, and people will talk. Create a Facebook event or use an app or site like Meetup. A couple weeks before the event, pick a bar or restaurant that's walking distance from the venue and set up a time for your community to meet you and bring merch. Following up is one of the most important aspects of networking at TwitchCon. A lot of people don't really do this. There's no point in connecting with people if you're not going to follow up with them afterwards. If they're more formal, a game dev or a sponsor, shoot them an email. Maybe a little bit more formal than you would shoot a normal person an email. If it's somebody you've built up a friendly relationship with already, then it might just be easier to shoot them an email or maybe even a tweet, letting them know that it was nice to meet them. Most of the value you will take away from TwitchCon won't even make itself apparent until after the show is already over. You're not the only one that's going to have trouble remembering people after the event. It's a good idea to write down keywords on the back of people's business cards to ensure that you actually remember the ones that you were talking to. Specific events like developers, beta access, all those things would be great to write on the back of business cards of people you meet just in case you forget. You're going to meet a lot of people at TwitchCon and faces might start to blur together. The final thought here is that if you're going to go to TwitchCon, right, you're going to want to be as eccentric and as personable as possible. With a little bit of poise, you can pretty much gracefully walk your way through TwitchCon, making all kinds of friends and all kinds of connections fairly quickly. A prime example is at PAX West, I, James, or Like the Sauce for a lot of people would know me as that, challenged Barnacles, Nerdgasm, a YouTuber with over 1.1 million subscribers, as I know him to be, who was streaming in the Twitch partner booth, $100 to win a game of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds with just a pan. I held the money at the window. I told him the rules through iPhone. I wrote it down in my notes, and I pressed it up against the window. And eventually he came and grabbed me and put me in his booth, and I was then coaching him on how to play PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. After that, we stopped, we talked, and we moved to the opposite end of the venue, sat against the wall, and talked for about 45 minutes. Those are the kind of ways that you can, I mean, it's obviously, don't just go around offering people money for things, but it's just one of those ways that I thought, how could I get this person to do something interesting for me? And that's how I did it. And I wound up making a great connection out of it. There's a lot of good ways to network with people, but one of the things you have to remember is that you have to be honed to the social situations that you're in. If you're not paying attention to how the conversation's going, you could say the wrong things. And a lot of people do make that mistake. But I think you guys are going to do just fine. I hope to see you guys at Twitchcon this year, and thank you for listening.